Hey guys, it's Winterwolf and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be furnishing the apartments that I built in the last video. So we're starting with the one downstairs, and this apartment ends up looking very like clean and kind of expensive looking. It has a lot of like white, black, I don't know, it looks like old-timey to some degree. I don't know how to explain it. I think you'll understand what I mean when you actually start seeing the furnishings. Um, just to clarify something, this was built, like, obviously it looks different from the version I showed you guys because when I built this on stream, I had like placement furniture that I placed, but I didn't save that version of the build. So then when I gave you guys the tour of the unfurnished version, that was me just deleting stuff that was already there. So it looks different from when you guys last saw it. Sorry about that. Um, but yeah, this place, it looks like old-timey and kind of modern, sleek, clean. And the sim that I put in here, I think is Persian. She's a Persian mother with two kids, and she's very into like the clean aesthetic. And I feel like there's a tip, like a word for these type of moms, but the kind of moms that like want everything to be super clean. They want this like neutral color palette, even for their children. Their like birthdays are kind of neutral and clean looking. Their bedrooms are kind of neutral and clean looking. Like they don't let their children be kids, I guess. So that's kind of the vision I had for this apartment and this mother and her two kids. I'm not sure if I'll ever play with her. I'm not even sure if I'm going to end up doing some kind of let's play, but I like to come up with stories, and I am going to be playing this in my personal time if I don't play it on Twitch. So this was kind of the plan that I came up for this sim. And the children's bedroom actually ends up being really colorful. I used like the Alice in Wonderland wallpaper. So my kind of thought was, one, either that's the way the apartment came, so the kids just kind of like got lucky that they got a colorful bedroom, or because this is a single mother, I was thinking maybe the father had decorated their room and then he like passed away later, or maybe they got divorced. I think passed away is probably what I'm leaning towards for the storyline. So he passed away, and now she has to raise the kids on her own, and she kind of like forces her like clean, like more mature, clean aesthetic on her children instead of letting them, dress colorful and like behave like kids. Um, and so that bedroom is really the only sort of like childlike aspect to their living situation. Like I think when I made the Sims, like I downloaded Sims and then I altered them because I didn't want to go through and make a bunch of new Sims. It would have taken a bunch of time, and I also really don't like casts that much, especially if they're not Sims I'm going to play with a lot. So I download Sims, I changed them, and then I think for all of the like kids outfits, I gave them like very kind of neutral, fancy outfits. Something you would expect like a mom put her kid into that, and like the kid not choose that for herself. So yeah, like a very sophisticated look when it's a child. So that was the aesthetic, and I guess their bedroom is like their only like childlike, again, like thing that they own, I guess. And that was probably designed by their father before he passed away. So that's the aesthetic and plan I'm going for this apartment. I actually really like this apartment. I don't think it's my favorite. I think my favorite's going to be the last, like the big one upstairs, but that's because it's made for the family that I'm going to be playing with. And also, so obviously I like put a lot more effort into that apartment because I was like, okay, that's going to be my Sims apartment. But also, I don't really do the aesthetic in that I did in that apartment a lot. I felt like for a long time I kind of went in a rut when it came to Sims builds. Like, I kind of felt like I would always build the same thing, and I think it's because I was trying to build a lot of those, like, modern farmhouses or, like, those trendy modern houses that you see nowadays. Not, like, the super modern ones, but, like, the modern suburbans. And anytime I would try to, like, build an interior for it, they just kind of always ended up looking very bland and boring and clean, and I was so bored of doing builds like that because I was trying to build my like dream house a while back, and I just couldn't get it done because I just didn't like the way it looked. I didn't like how clean I made it. I was basing it off of a inspiration picture that I found of a house that's near where I live, And that house was so pretty. And I showed it to my boyfriend. I was like, oh my God, look at this house. It's so cool. And he was like, that would be like a great house. Like if we were buying a house right now, we would definitely buy that one. But we're not because I don't have a job and I'm going to be finishing my degree in a year. And so there's no point in like buying a house, right? So it's just kind of in my dreams. And so I wanted to build that as like our dream house in The Sims. And I just struggled so much with it because it looked so clean and like I like having color in my life. I don't really know what my aesthetic is. It's also like it puts a lot of pressure when you like think about building your dream home, you know? So that was kind of stressful and I didn't like that or enjoy that. So you can see here in the kids' bedroom, like I said, it's very colorful. Again, the father must have done the decor for this before he passed because the mom would never do something like this. I also hadn't used any of the Alice in Wonderland pack yet, so I really wanted to like take my time and kind of build with it. And I felt like the Alice in Wonderland pack worked with this build because it also kind of looks kind of old time and like old timey, fancy, sophisticated, but also it's very colorful. So I felt like it fit the vibes in a way where it looked more childlike, but it still gave the essence of what the apartment does to some degree. Obviously, the apartment's like much cleaner than what that, pack is, but I felt like it fit pretty well. Um, Here you can see we're doing some more of the like living room and stuff and basically have our floor plan figured out. I actually really, really like this floor plan and how it turned out. I really love that fireplace. I don't remember what pack it came in. I'm not an expert at this game like I used to be anymore. Like I used to be able to like name every single item in this and I just don't play it enough anymore to recognize it. I actually think those chairs might be from the Alice in Wonderland pack as well. Like I said, I think the aesthetic fits this apartment really well. But yeah, so I kind of wanted to make this a little bit more minimal, not super colorful, very like expensive, tasteful. I guess vintage is maybe the word I'm looking for. I wanted to make it look kind of vintagey, but still like clean-ish modern. I don't know. So that was the aesthetic for the downstairs. And then upstairs, this one was such a pain in the butt to build. I haven't edited this video at all. I just sped up the footage, so it's possible that you're going to watch some really annoying things with me spending 80 years. I wanted to kind of figure out the floor plans for all the builds before I got into like the nitty-gritty of like putting decor and stuff. I also don't know if I recorded everything I did in this build. I don't think I did because I remember struggling a lot. So it's possible that some of the like furnishing and decor and stuff might not be in the videos. I'm not sure. But this floor plan was such a doozy because the like couch wanted to be in that corner, but it didn't like match with the fireplace, but I wanted the fireplace to line up with the chimney in the back like I was talking about in the last video. So this floor plan was super confusing and I was struggling a lot with it. And I was like, dang, do I have to redo this build a little bit because it was just such a bad shape. Like I didn't know what to do with it at all. And I was struggling so much. And I also I didn't know what aesthetic I wanted to go with. And this like looked so weird because I was trying to like line up the couch with where I've put the fireplace. And obviously the fireplace is like blended into the wall. And then I realized I'm just going to block something off. I know it even makes less space for this area in an already really small apartment, but I was like, it's just not going to work if I don't do that. So I ended up blocking that area off and it looks really nice. And I did add a bookshelf. I don't know if they can access that bookshelf because it's in front of a archway, but it looks cool. So I guess that's nice. No idea if they can use that bookshelf. I would assume they cannot, but I've seen people do stuff like this and make it functional, but I'm not sure if there's like a trick. You know how there's like a lot of tricks you can do to make things functional? I don't know if there's a trick for that or if it just is functional. So, yeah. I kind of wanted to make this look a little bit more masculine. So it's not super decorated. I've stuck like with a lot of like very stereotypical like masculine aesthetics for this room or like build. And I also used red a lot for some reason. I also used this bed, which I kind of regret. I don't think this bed matches the aesthetic of this house like at all, but it's what I picked at the time. And then I just never really changed it because I like the red color. And again, I haven't played this game in so long and there's so many items that I've just never touched. And that bed was one of them. And I thought the bed looked so, so pretty. So I was like, okay, let's try it. Oh, I didn't even keep it in the red. I forgot. I started using this like green color for the bedroom for some reason. Like the whole like living area is red. And then this one ends up being kind of greenish. I also really don't like the fact that I've like done mismatched wood tones in this build. Usually I don't mind doing mismatched wood tones. Like even the living room has some like mismatched, but something about this wood tone in particular with the wallpaper coloring and like the wood tone on it just doesn't make sense to me. So I kind of really don't like this room and I'd probably redo it if I had another chance or like had more time to build this. I mean, I have unlimited time. I'm the one who chooses how long, but I just didn't want to go through and try to refurnish that room. And at the time I didn't like it. And then by the time I did like it, or no, at the time I did like it. And then by the time I didn't like it, it was like the build was already done. So I didn't really want to like go back and fix it. I don't know why this video is paused. I might be doing something. I did this on stream, so it's possible I got distracted with something. But yeah, so I didn't really like the color scheme. And at the time I was keeping these builds super minimal because I was like, okay, they're apartments. You wouldn't like decorate them a lot. But then I think at the end I ended up adding a lot more decor. And I don't remember if I recorded how much decor I added. But I just felt like it's not realistic to have decor. But then at the same hand, it just looked so empty and boring. And I spent so much time on this apartment because this is the apartment that my Sims are going to live in. And I was like, okay, well, these are so decorated. And then the other ones are like barely decorated. So I ended up going back and adding more decor later on, but I can't, like I said, I can't remember if I recorded that or not. But yeah, oh, I need to take a breather. I've been talking fast for a long time. This is going to be the bedroom for the Indian Sims that I've made that I want to play with. The floor plan on this one is by far the best. This room is also like super colorful and it's just like very out of my zone for like Sims builds because I don't think I usually make super colorful Sims builds. Again, like I was talking about, I feel like I was in such a rut and this build like helped a lot. I really like having color, but sometimes I'm scared that like what I think looks good, other people would be like, oh, that's too colorful, or you have too many accent walls or something. So I kind of struggled with this because I wanted it to be super colorful and pretty because like Indian culture has like a lot of really colorful things. Like their outfits are very colorful, saris are really colorful. They literally have Holi, which is all about color. And yeah, so I wanted to make this house very colorful. I'm actually not sure what Indian architecture looks like, which is kind of awkward. I feel like I should know that, but I just don't. So I have no idea if they have their houses like very colorful. I could probably ask, but yeah. So I put some like tea stuff down because you gotta have your chai, your masala chai. I also put a mortar and pestle down because for chai, obviously you need to grind cardamom and almonds, and some people add cinnamon in them and stuff like that. So I put a mortar and pestle down. I tried to get like very particular with like my decor and stuff, to make it as kind of realistic as possible. Obviously, I feel like The Sims kind of lacks in a lot of Indian decor. It seems very underrepresented in The Sims. Like I know the wedding pack came with some decor that was Indian, but it's still lacking a lot. I don't know. I feel like they should add more. Here I'm gonna try to make like a little temple type area. There's no like statues that I could maybe mimic like having like gods as. Like I don't know. I tried. I think there might be stuff in like the show hidden objects or the like gameplay objects, maybe from the Jungle Adventure pack, because I feel like that has some weird looking statues in it, but I don't think that gives the right aesthetic for like the typical aesthetic of like Indian god statues. So I just didn't end up putting any. Instead, I put these cute little gold statues just for fun. So here we have like an oil lamp type thing. I added this like magic ball, which is not Indian at all. But again, I was just trying to match like an aesthetic of like, oh, this is like mystical religion type vibes. And so they have some sage, and then they also have what are those called? Like incense sticks. I also want to clarify that like what I'm putting down is like from personal experience. So it might not like if you're Indian, you're like my family doesn't have any of that stuff. Like it's not, you know, meant to like match every single Indian person, obviously. It's just like what I know. Um but yeah, so I've added like sage and stuff. I also add some cute little tarot card pictures from the Life and Death pack. Tarot isn't really like an Indian thing, but what I would really like to have put is astrology, but because Indian astrology is something that's pretty prevalent in like a lot of households, I think, but it's very different from Americanized astrology. Um, it like two different worlds. It's very different, but we just don't have anything like astrology related, so I opted to put like tarot card stuff to kind of replace that instead. So I ended up putting some cute little tarot cards. It also fit really well with the color scheme for the living room. I haven't put them down yet, so you guys have like no idea what I'm talking about, but they're like turquoise tarot cards that I placed, and I felt like it fit with the color scheme of the build a lot, and they looked kind of pretty, so I was like, okay, let's put those down. And then this will be, oh my goodness, we're jumping around so much. I think I'm saving because I'm about to end stream. But yeah, so this will be the living room, or no, sorry. Why did I say living room? I'm so tired. This is the main bedroom for the girl sim that I have living here. So the idea for these sims is that there is a young adult. I can't remember what I named her. There's a younger adult living here, and she's currently a home decorator, but my idea is that she's going to go to college or start taking classes when she has time, and then eventually go into real estate. Because again, I haven't played with the For Rent. I'm saying again, I didn't talk about this in this video, but last video I was talking about how I haven't played with For Rent a lot, but it feels like a pack that I would really like because I like tenant type things and renting and decorating and all that kind of stuff. So because of that, I wanted to play with it a little bit. So I decided that the sim will go into property management. So I thought maybe she could like take business courses. Technically, business courses probably don't have anything to do with For Rent or becoming a landlord in this game, but realistically, having a business degree and then going into like property management or something is probably pretty helpful. Unless you kind of just learn the stuff on your own. Those were the turquoise cards that I was talking about earlier. But yeah, I felt like they looked really nice. I put a lot of like pattern stuff. I felt like I just really like how this whole build and everything turned out. What was I saying? Okay, so my idea is that she's going to become a property manager at some point. So she's a single like young adult living here, but my idea also is that her younger brother who's a teenager came to live with her. I really haven't worked out the storyline from there. I don't know if maybe he's like an immigrant and then they moved him over there, but maybe the parents are still in India, or maybe the parents like exiled him for some reason and now he lives with his sister, and maybe they passed away, so now the sister has to take care of him. I don't know. I didn't figure out that storyline yet at all, but the idea is that he's like recently moved into this house. And so he got that other room. And so this room used to be her office area. So it looks very like, or I guess it'd be like a guest bedroom with an office in it that she probably used. Like that was probably her office. So the room itself looks very sophisticated and older. And like you would not think that that belongs to a teenager. And that was on purpose, partially because I just really liked the way it turned out. And I was like, but this doesn't fit the sim. And I was like, okay, well, let's just make it part of the storyline that like he moved into this after the fact, like after she had already decorated it. So it like wasn't meant to be his room originally. This was meant to be a guest bedroom and then her office as well. So this has like a really fancy office in it. It has huge bookshelves, which I feel like might be realistic for a kid to have just because you probably have like textbooks and things and maybe he likes to read. But again, this room, like look how fancy this looks. Like this just looks way too fancy to be a teenager's bedroom. So the idea is that this was a guest bedroom and then he just like moved in, which is also why I added, what did I not? I thought I added the suitcase there. Like maybe he just moved in, you know? Maybe I didn't. I don't remember. But yeah, so that's the plan. I'm still trying to decide whether I want to play this on Twitch or not. I think it would be fun to play this on Twitch, but I'm so bad at doing Let's Plays. Like, I just don't commit to them, and then I feel bad because I'm going to play them, and then I, like, stop playing after, like, 2 days. That's probably not very fun for viewers to have to deal with. So, I don't know. I haven't really thought it through, like, what I want to do. I really struggled with curtains in this game because I feel like we just have a lot of good curtains now. Like, well, there's a couple things I still don't like about curtains, mainly the fact that we don't have, like, I wish the rods and the curtains were separate. Like, I wish I could always be able to add, like, sections, and I think it'd be really nice if they, like, went through and did an update where, like, somehow you could pick rods and curtains separately or something, but I don't know if that's possible, but it would just be so nice because the rods can really, like, affect the way your build looks if they don't match properly. And it's also super weird to put curtains down and then not have the rods go all the way across. So that's weird. And then also sometimes, like, there's a curtain you might want to use that doesn't fit the window you're using because it's not long enough. Again, because it's, like, pre-made rod on the window or on the curtain and not, like, separate pieces. So I would really like if they started doing more of the, like, separate pieces rather than having two separate rods that are already built into the curtains. But yeah, so I added a rice cooker because you obviously need your rice, and then I added tea maker, and I added, like I said, I think I said it earlier, but I add, like, a mortar and pestle so that you can, like, crush your spices up for when you're making masala chai, and just, like, food in general. And then I added this cute little tray of, like, desserts because I thought that was adorable. I can't remember if there's anything else. I add some wine because I felt like the sim I made was a bit of a wine girly. So I did that for fun, essentially. And then I've just given, like, a lot of spices because I feel like Indian households just have a lot of spices because their food's very, like, flavorful, and then obviously their tea as well is made with a lot of different spices. So yeah, that's the basic reasoning for why I decorated but the decorations I put. And I think I put a couple of different teapots. I can't remember. My mom has, like, a little teapot collection. She has them on a shelf in the dining room, and I think it's super cute. So I would really like to mimic that in The Sims, but I feel like we don't have a lot of teapot options in this game. I really wish that we had more. I absolutely love the one from Wedding Stories, but again, there's only, like, 3 aesthetics, and one of them is, like, very British looking, and then the other one I think is like, Asian. I really wish that we had more tea sets to kind of put into the game because I think most of our tea sets look very British. But Brits aren't the only ones that drink tea, and so it'd be nice to have some more variety. Especially having, like, more modern ones would also be nice. I don't even think we have more modern tea sets. I can't think of anything other than, like, the actual ones that have functionality. But we're reaching towards the end of this video right now, so I'm going to go ahead and open up my game and we'll get into a tour of the apartments. Okay, so this is the exterior once again. If you guys don't remember what the outside looks like, let's go ahead and do a quick overview, like, overhead look, because that's probably going to be easiest. This is the first floor, so we've got our main entrance here, and then our first apartment. So that's the outline. And then if we go up to the second floor, we've got our small apartment on the right side, and then a huge 2-bedroom apartment on the left-hand side. Just like that. And yeah, so that's the exterior. And then if we go inside, my sense is so high. Every time I do tours like this, it drives me crazy. In fact, I think I'm just gonna go lower my sense really quickly. 1 second. I just put myself on 800 DPI. Usually I have it on 800 or 1800. But for The Sims, it's just way too fast. So when we walk in here, oh my goodness, I forgot to paint the roofing. That sucks. Also, something I really don't like about this game is that they never gave us the option to paint, like, ceilings in terms of, like, wallpaper colors or, like, paint colors. They only let you do floor tile, and I don't really get that because I would love to paint the ceiling's like actual colors and not just like concrete and wood. This is the entry area that you guys just saw a minute ago. Pretty simple. It's just a couch with a big TV. Kind of nice that they even have a big TV that people can just like use. This is the water area with the electricity. I don't know if they can access this electricity thing, so it might need to be play tested if you guys do download this build, and then you might have to move it somewhere else. Oh wait, no, let's go to the apartment. This is the first apartment that's downstairs. So we start out in this little entryway here. I thought that I had put a coat rack here, but I don't see it, so maybe I didn't. Don't know. We have a really, really small archway here bringing us into the house. And I really think this is such a pretty room. I like how light and airy it is. It's very clean. It looks kind of vintagey and fancy. I just really like it. So this is the little dining area. I really like this table. I'm not sure if the wood tone is really the right wood tone I should have used, but I kind of wanted to tie into some of the yellowy tones of the wallpaper, and I felt like black was too stark. And then we've got our kitchen, which I really didn't decorate a lot. Oops. I guess I probably should have, but I think this house is meant to be like very clean. And then here we have our dining place, or not dining place, sorry. We have a living room with a really cool fireplace. And then I put some blank canvas here because this is a home that has a mother and her 2 children. So I figured they would probably have their own pictures on the wall and stuff. But yeah, so that's that area. And then over here, we've got the office. And it's, again, pretty simple with just like a little frame and stuff. I think this is probably the least decorated apartment out of all of them. This was before I decided to add more decor, so it kind of makes sense. And we come in here, this would be the mother's bedroom. Really, really brown, still pretty fancy looking. Very simplistic. We got some paintings on the wall and then some makeup, and I assumed that this would be like perfume or cologne or something. So yeah, that's this room. This is the kids' room, which is a miles different from the rest of the house. It's the only like decorative, colorful part of the house. With the Alice in Wonderland wallpaper, they've got these really bright beds, which I think fit the wallpaper pretty well, and some of the other decor here. So yeah, they've got their own little TV sitting area. They've got their drawing place, and then this is technically a toy box. I don't know if they can access it if it has a TV on it, but I think it might actually be fine because I don't know if they ever actually interact with the item itself. I think they just like stand near it and then grab toys out of it, or toys kind of just like magically appear. This is the bathroom. Again, very simple, not much to look at. That is the downstairs. I kind of wish that I had decorated it a little bit more now that I'm looking back on it, but oh well, build's done at this point. And this is already on the gallery. My gallery ID is 311231 if you guys did want to download it. This is the small 1-bedroom apartment, which was supposed to look a little bit more masculine. This person, whoever lives here, man, they have a massive drinking problem, or they just really appreciate alcohol because they've got so many bottles of alcohol here. So we've got this really, really small kitchen space here. Again, not very well decorated. A nice little dining table, which I think is really cute. And then this really, honestly, I think it looks really nice, this living area. Yeah, I think it looks really, really nice. And I also really like the like brown tones on this and like the red color that it has, along with the texture. I think the texture on these items is really great. This is the bedroom. This is probably my least favorite room of this apartment. I kind of wish that I hadn't picked the bed that I picked with the wood tones that I picked, but oh well, that's what we have. But yeah, it's pretty simple. There's a little watch about, and that's kind of it for this apartment. Oh, and there's a bathroom too, but nothing really interesting about the bathroom. In fact, oh, I was about to say, I don't even think I gave them toilet paper, but I did give them toilet paper. So you're welcome. This is the last apartment, which is like the most decorated. This is like a little temple type area. So there's some incense, sage, some wood incense, and then I added some like oils and things and an oil lamp. And the other stuff is more just like mystical things because we don't have a lot of like Hindu religious type stuff. So I just kind of put some other stuff to add some decoration. And then we've got an elephant on the wall, which maybe you could take as like a symbol for Ganesh. And then there's just a little sign saying to not have your shoes in the house, some decorative shoes, coat rack, This is the kitchen, which is really well decorated. My sim kind of seemed like she would be a wine girly, so we've got some wine in the corner, lots of spices, tea, mortar and pestle, because to make chai or masala tea, you would need to grind up cardamom and things like that. I think what we do is like cardamom and almonds, but some people also put cinnamon. So there's options. And then there's a rice cooker. And then this is the living room, which is super duper colorful. Very, very colorful. And if you walk over here, we enter into the dining room. And I add some tarot cards. I feel like my sim would be kind of into like tarot stuff. I also thought it fit the color scheme really well. And I liked the aesthetic of them. I also think that astrology would probably be a big thing, but there's not a lot of like astrology references in the game, so instead I decided to put tarot cards. And there's just a little tea set and some nice little desserts and then some decor. And then this would be her office because like I said, she's going to be a home decorator. I can't remember if I said that in this video or a previous one, like the first part of this build, but either way, this is her like home decor office. And yeah, this is the bathroom. Pretty blank and empty. Forgot to give these guys toilet paper. Oh well. And then this is the bedroom for the girl, older sim, who is a home decorator. So very, very colorful build. And I just felt like this bed was perfect for kind of making a more like Indian aesthetic house. So really like this bed. And then we've just got some, oh no, I forgot to move these so they're overlapping. Well, we have some jewelry and some paintings, peacocks. And then this is her personal bathroom, which I also forgot to give her toilet paper in. Let's not talk about that. And then this is the teenage son's office, or bedroom. And this was originally, like I said, supposed to be kind of a guest bedroom, so it looks a lot fancier than what you would expect from a teenager. But it's just the space that she had, and he only recently moved in. So this is the fancy bedroom he gets, I guess. But I really think it looks good. And then we add some ribbons and stuff and some school things, some video games. I feel like he'd be a little bit competitive in nature, so I definitely think he would have a lot of ribbons on the wall and maybe some trophies. I kind of envision this person being a big chess person and maybe a big video game person too. So he's got like a nice video game setup, salt lamps, books, so many books. And I think that's everything. So yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys liked this video and this build. If you guys have any suggestions on what to build next, I can never talk when I do voiceovers. It's so annoying. If you guys have any suggestions on what we should build next, please let me know. And yeah, if you guys like this video, please hit the like button. If you like me, hit the subscribe button. And if you really like me and want me notified every single time I post a video, go ahead and hit that bell button. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!